Yo, it's your boy Rod, SideQuest, back with another video, Rope Flow Odyssey, episode number 14. So I've actually used my jump rope. I found it. It was deep inside my closet for a little bit, a couple weeks, and I pulled it out, and then I also used some sliders to do some lunges, and then also drag my feet like this, which helps your psoas, release your psoas. Let's go ahead and get started with this rope flow video. But during my Rope Flow Odyssey videos, you might see a jump rope in use because I've had to admit that I was really big in jump rope beforehand, but when I picked up the flow rope, I have not picked up a jump rope. But they work in tandem, in combination with each other, right? So the flow rope is working your side-to-side movements with the spine, right? And that figure eight dipping movements. And the jump rope is literally you going up and down, distributing all this lactic acid, all this crazy stuff that both the flow rope didn't hit. So it's like a yin and yang. So honestly, if you do jump rope and flow rope, that is the great combination. It's so good that I'm actually taking my jump rope with me with this flow rope and my one yoga mat. So that's all I need for training. I'll never need to go to the gym again in my life. And I suggest you guys do the same if you're like me and you don't really want to train in public. I like my solitude. All right, man, as you can see here, I'm just doing some rotations, and later today, my friend Julian, my Canadian friend that lives here in Bangkok, we met at a Muay Thai gym last year. Super cool guy. He's coming over. We're gonna be hanging out for a little bit, and maybe you guys will see him in the vlogs. We're gonna be linking up in Taiwan, so it'd be really nice to have someone that I know, especially Westerner in a foreign country. It'll be like bad boys in Asia, you know what I'm saying? Except for one bad guy and one really good Canadian guy. We'll see. But as you guys can tell, I'm just working on the movement, overhand race and chase, overhand matador, right? I'm really getting a hang of this rope. Can't stress enough, Winding Ropes is the best flow rope company that I've personally had the chance to use. I've only used 4 flow ropes, but yeah, it's just what I recommend for now. In the future, that is subject to change, but who knows, you know, because the thing about ropes is that I've already seen some fraying in my other rope, but this is something that will eventually break if you use it enough, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're scraping correctly, if you're doing all the movements that you're supposed to be doing, or if you're just doing simple movements, eventually the rope will fray and break. Hopefully never, but there's a highly likely chance if you're using this on a daily basis or a weekly basis for years and years and years. So keep that in mind. Nothing wrong with that, because I broke through some resistance bands, which are rubber, but in my experience, those are the first things. Mini bands and then resistance bands are the first things to break first whenever you have like at-home training equipment. Yoga mats can last long depending on which brand you get. So for that, I suggest Yaloha. It's an American brand, and they use a lot of cork for the yoga mats. The top, and the reason why you want to use cork is because it's bacterial, antimicrobial, and you could actually lay it out in the sun, and the sun will take care of the cork and the bacteria for you. Spray it, wipe it down, maybe once every 2 weeks, once a week, depending on how heavy your usage is, but you really don't have to. Also, that's kind of one thing that I like about cork yoga mats and a rope. Like, you could wipe down a rope every once in a while, but at the same time, if you're not getting just like disgustingly sweaty, you don't have to necessarily clean it all the time. You should, but don't look at me like I'm a dirty pants. I do shower multiple times a day, especially here in the Bangkok heat. All right, now just doing some one-handed underarms. We're just doing an easy flow today. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, even though I only know the underhand, overhand matador, and I'm still working on the dragon roll. So, like I said in the previous video, it's just this rocking back and forward motion will help either balance while you're doing rope flow. And it's something that I've been trying to incorporate in my training lately. You see, I just recently hit the glass behind me, and this is really nice having this glass like a barrier. It's like it gives me a small space to work with, but also lets me be aware of the rope. Now I will say it's better if you're opening your body up in an open space, but I kind of like how this angle hits the sunlight, you know, this city behind me and stuff like that. So maybe we'll work with some different angles later on, we'll see. So tell me, guys, have you picked up a rope? Have you started rope flows yet? Remember, you can go to Home Depot, Lowe's. It could be any old basic rope. It doesn't have to be a specific flow rope, something expensive. It could be cheap, so just keep that in mind. but I can't stress, once you pick up a rope, it's addicting. It really is. So I'm super happy that I got my Canadian friend Julian to agree to do rope flow with me one day. So we'll see. I got Marcio, my friend. If you haven't seen him in the previous vlogs, I've referred to him as Finance Bro. When he's a friend from high school, elementary school, I got him to do one rope flow exercise with me, just some basic movements. But he said, hey man, I feel a little bit looser in my spine afterwards. So I was like, good, that's all I need to hear. Okay, now I'm leaning back into it while doing overhand race and chase. This is gonna work my upper traps, my upper back, and also give me so much more mobility from this angle, believe it or not. And that's exactly what you need whenever you're a competitor in any type of athletic event. You want full range of motion and mobility in your body from any angle. So just keep that in mind. Why? Because you don't want to be able to pull a muscle or something in any shape or form of your body whenever you're doing any kind of activity where you're performing or competing. Let me give you an example. Now this is not related to the muscle, but I spent half a season, not a full season, half a season of my 9th grade year in high school wrestling. And I initially was so, I wouldn't say traumatized, but I would definitely say I was like worried that I was gonna keep injuring my body and get nothing in the form of compensation, payback, or a future out of this because I wasn't good enough. But I injured my knee at a tournament, and basically my patella slid out of place, and then I was like, and they ended up pushing it back into place, or like it came out of place a little bit, then it went back into place. But from there, I've just been so wary about different angles. If I'm messing with friends, horse around with guys, getting into, Muay Thai sparring matches at the gym I used to go to, but position is everything. And to me, if you're doing anything with incorrect form, lifting, throwing a punch, running, you're subject to injury. And I learned that hard in the military too. So everything, I try to engage the right muscles, especially, like, let me give you an example. I injured my knee, right, in the military again, when I was doing a back lunge. So I had my full kit on, whole bunch of, heavy gear, plate right here, plate right here. I had my M16 at the time, helmet, and then I went back like this. And then somehow this patella came out to this side, and it was like, But now I'm super wary whenever I do a back lunge, and I was so scared for a long time that I didn't even want to train any kind of lunges or any kind of movements like that. But little did I know that that was the best thing for me to get my knee mobility back. So and it doesn't require any weights or anything like that. So now, guys, it's the time to work on my dragon roll. We're gonna try and do it. I know I'm really rusty, but I know I'm also getting somewhere. And the rope flow course that I'm in, the instructor in Seaman Young, he said 5 to 10 minutes a day is all you really need. Microdose it, and you'll be able to get good with anything. And I never knew how to put those words like down so simple as him, but that's something I've always, I think, inherently intuned into my life, especially with yoga. Just ease into it. I feel like every yoga class I've been to, they never emphasize just going easy. Like, you don't have to push yourself in yoga. To me, it's almost more incentivizing to your body and to the people I meet when I tell them, if you're going into a yoga position, just go slowly don't go into the full range of motion. Like, if you're gonna bend backwards like this, go right here. Go right here where it's super easy for you, you know what I'm saying? And then the next time you do it, your body's gonna be like, okay, I understand where we're at. And we know our limit is a little bit further down, but we're comfortable here. Let's explore this range of motion because we haven't been here probably in years. That, my friends, applies to every kind of exercise. Not just exercise, I would say so much so into regular life too. Like, that's something that I learned in the military. Like microdosing cigarettes in the field. That's a terrible example. Sorry. But actually, I used to smoke cigarettes on and off, and then when I was in the military, honestly, I never bought a pack of cigarettes. I bought one pack for my friend, but I've never bought a pack to smoke myself. I was vaping for years in the military, and I'm glad I stopped because once I got out of the military, I was smoking a MJ, if you know what I'm talking about, and way more natural, way more easy on the lungs. And I use it for medical purposes. It helps me with my pain. I have so much pain from my military service and injuries, so that's really why I use it. And I'm glad that culturally we're moving forward as not just Western nations or Thailand, but the world. I can see that like Japan has just legalized it December 12th for medical purposes, so I can only see it moving upwards. So we'll see. All right, guys, so that was a real easy flow. Didn't really do much today, but you saw I took it real easy and light on my body. So once again, just want to thank you guys for joining me, and it's been a pleasure having people watch my videos and tune in to my life. You know, it's a real good joy that I get to do this. So thank you, my friends, and check out these orange handles. They're really nice, right? Love you. Bye.